That intro was so cool. Hello, everybody. How's it going? That was my first time using that countdown thing, and it's my first time back on Rubber Duck Thursdays since coming back from maternity leave. So, hello. I had a baby, and now I'm back coding and hanging out. Is there double audio? Oh no. Oh, there's someone crying in the background. Oh no, that's my baby. Well, I hope there's. Is it double audio? Do you hear me in multiple places? Let me know in the comments. Smash that subscribe button, but also, is it good? Is it good? Okay, we're good. Nice, great, cool. Sorry about my baby crying. That's the reality of where my life is at right now. Working from home, kiddo in the next room. But it's pretty fun. Hello, everybody. I've got people from all over the world I see. Hello. Hey, Charlie. What's up? I see Dan said, could we promote our repos on GitHub on this channel? Sure. Tell me about them. I'm very curious about it. How are y'all doing? Oh, thank you. Hey, from Costa Rica. Hello. I've never been, but I've always wanted to go to Costa Rica. Tell me how y'all are doing. I am like very newly back to work, and it's exciting and a lot, but it's been so cool because so much has been shipped and stuff. Oh, hey, from Sweden too. Cool. So much has been like shipped and done by the team. Did any of you tune into GitHub Universe last week? It was sick. South Africa too. Wow. Hello, everyone around the world. I'm in Chicago. It's a bright sunny day here. And I'm indoors with my windows closed because this is my cave. I mean, they talked about a few things. Yeah, no, there were a few things at GitHub Universe. We have the thing that I particularly liked that they talked about, and if y'all want to tune in, you could go on GitHub's YouTube channel and see all of that. I think it's literally youtube.com/GitHub. If you're watching this on YouTube, you're already there. But yeah, anyway, they talked about all of like the maintainer wins and like paper cut works that we're doing to make things easier for maintainers and for developers to use GitHub. But then they also talked about like the new Agent HQ mission control stuff for running all the Copilot agent things. It's been cool. Wow, there's so many people from all over the world. That's so fun. Oh, you're new to parenting yourself. How you doing? How you doing? How much sleep are you getting? Because we're holding on. Austin, Texas, La Rochelle, France. Wow, Sweden. Oh my goodness, we've got people from all over the place. From Egypt, from India again. Man, we've got people all over. But yeah, is there anything that y'all saw that you want to talk about or that you're working on? I want to hear more about what all of you are doing. What's going on in the world? I've been in babyland trying to like occasionally check in on things, but I love talking to developers about what they're building, what their pain points are, what they want to learn, that kind of stuff, and see if I can help. And so when you ask, what is this about? That's what this is about. It's figuring out what do you want? Brooklyn, nice. I used to live in Brooklyn way back in the day. It was a good place. I was about to kind of dox my past self. I lived in Brooklyn. That's all you need to know. So I'm actually trying to offboard a project, and I'm looking about how I can leverage Copilot to backfill documentation on a repo. Oh, that's interesting. That's cool. I think that's something that can be super handy. I feel like, yeah, developing that kind of doc so that way someone else can take it on is handy. And also, like, on a personal note, this might just be me. And me being a lazy bum. I know that I lose motivation on a lot of things when I know that I don't have to deal with it anymore. And so with offboarding a project, I feel like that is a really good thing, a really good use case of AI stuff, because then if it's helping you write the docs, you don't have to put as much like mental and emotional effort in, if that makes sense. building some MCP tooling. Oh, interesting. MCP is cool. It's been cool to see how like the standard has advanced a lot of things. I didn't watch Universe. Are there any cool non-AI announcements? You should watch the day 2 keynote. Um, because I can't like explain all of them, but they're like in particular, you'll see Furbies and a classical piano player who also is a developer on our team. So that is a silly way of describing, but the work that they've done for managing like fixes and paper cuts that maintainers have been dealing with for a long time. Those announcements have been very cool. Just the work that they're doing to make like pull requests easier to deal with and issues easier to deal with and stuff. Those ones are particularly neat. What's your last fantastic keyboard? I'm looking. I've started building a mechanical keyboard, but I don't think it's in this room because I needed to like solder something. But this one is the one that I just switched from. It's a little loud for streaming, which is why I'm not typing on it now. But check it out. Isn't that cool? With all the like the old Apple font and stuff and the old Mac things. I really like this keyboard. It's fun and it's very loud, which is why I don't type on it when I live stream in case it would make someone go deaf if I were clacking and also shouting like, so this is what I code on a day-to-day. That's how I code. I think shipping a project without agentic AI is a waste of company resources. That's probably an extreme statement, but I do think that is a future we're moving towards where a lot of AI will be accelerating the iteration process, where like, I wouldn't call it a waste, but you don't want to slow people down because you refuse to adopt certain AI things. I can at times like really like AI and also be a major hater depending on what things are doing. But it's undeniable that it is accelerating the pace of development. And so shipping a project and using the tools and resources available to you to do so, I think is a valuable thing. But you don't want to make a blanket statement like that that could have some nuance, you know? Like it's I wouldn't necessarily call it a waste. Um, hello. Whoa, it's Cass. Yeah, that's me. Hey, how's it going? Um, let's see. I'm scrolling through. Whoa, from Nigeria, from Pakistan, from India. Hello, everybody. With so many AI tools available today, what do you think we should place our main focus on? I'm a big user of Claude Code and Cursor, but it feels like overload with new things every day. It is overload with new things every day. I think like this is a test of agility right now for a lot of developers where like I think we're in a phase of like a lot of things are happening all at once. A lot of changes are happening for all the tools because everybody wants to like win. When there's probably not going to be one winner, there will probably be multiple, but that's, you know, capitalism. And so I think if you are a big user of these tools, they're probably going to be the best tools now, but you're going to try something new because a new tool did something that you like, and then you're going to have to switch. It's a test of agility right now. And I feel like placing your main focus on not sticking with the thing that works best for you right now is good because something might accelerate you an incredible way right now. That tool might be different next week. Like there was a blog post I wrote a few months ago that literally 2 weeks later it was out of date because the pace is so wild. I do think things will be slowing down a little bit. Yeah. That's probably a naive thing to say, but I think it will because not because it has to, but because there's going to be a point where like the bar has been set, the standards have been set a little bit, and then it'll be just refining those standards. And I think like MCP is a good example of that, where like tooling that can be iterated on, expanded upon, but is ultimately open, like an open standard for how things are called, how tools are used, so that you don't have to say like, I only want to use the best model, because the best model is the best model currently. I think now that is true. You want to use the best models, but there are different models that do better for different things, just like people. That big it depends question. There's never like or answer. There's no one model that fits all. There's a lot of, like, general models, there's specific ones, stuff like that. So the thing to focus on is that agility because it's just going to keep changing. But there's going to be a point where models won't matter as much. There's going to be a point where your editor might not matter as much. It's going to be your tool stack. How flexible is it to change and which things can accelerate your team in a way where the learning curve is low, but the productivity is high? That was a really rambly answer for what you asked, Justin, but I hope that was helpful. Um, let's see. I'm currently building a decentralized application that leverages a Maps API to claim plots of land. Interesting. That's fascinating. I never thought of that use case for gain a daily yield percentage. That's interesting. Um, what question are people answering? Just what are you working on? And then do you have any questions about stuff? Um, let's see. I'm starting to build my portfolio in image processing. Oh, cool. In Python and PyTorch. That's awesome. I know that PyTorch was moved to a foundation, was it like last year or something? And it seems like it's been iterating in a cool way. I haven't messed with it much, but it seems particularly neat. Um, let's see. My challenge is how to apply agentic AI in enterprise. It seems like we need to come up with new design patterns that let agents understand the domain. I agree. I think this is where the power of documentation will come into play. Like, I think a lot of AI tools can like write a lot of initial docs, but there's going to be a lot of human guidance there. And I also think that like figuring out how to not only follow best practices, but model new best practices is going to be something that we all as an industry iterate on a lot because you don't want to have to rely on a fine-tuned model in an enterprise code base. Because a fine-tuned model for your code base is great, but that means that it had to be fine-tuned to understand your code. That means your code's kind of a mess. And I'm not saying like a specific function or file or something. I mean, overall, you want to be able to drop in different tools to a particular code base without having to fine-tune it. But that being said, we have to figure out how to architect our code bases so that any model can be dropped into it and work with it. Any tool can be dropped into it and work with it. And so is that custom instructions in a per folder, per repo, a monorepo kind of setup? Is that like certain prompts that every engineer uses? Is it like a new type of linting that works for LLMs in addition to humans? I'm not sure. I think these are a lot of like big question mark questions because once again, this is like a new reality. I don't know if y'all saw the Octoverse report. Let me pull this up actually. Octoverse report. Yeah. Um, it's at octoverse.github.com. One second. I am going to share my screen in theory. I haven't been on this stream in a minute, so let me just make sure it works. That'd be cool. Aha, it did. Okay. This one. Aha. Nice. So octoverse.github.com, it's kind of just like the state of what's going on in GitHub. And it's a really, really interesting report. I highly recommend reading through it. I just finished reading through it yesterday myself. It came out last week. And the numbers are wild. Where like developers pushed nearly 1 billion commits in 2025, which is huge, huge numbers. Just there was something, what was it per second? 230 new repos every minute, which is wild. And yes, a lot of that is like AI generated stuff, but that doesn't mean that developers aren't messing with it, touching it, working on it. And I think the pace of things is just going so fast that we as developers kind of have to figure out where is our place in all of this speed? How do we continue to work as developers and iterate on what it means to be a developer in this new world without generating slop? And I luckily don't think that there's too much code slop in the world. ish. That's probably naively optimistic of me to say, but yeah, the we're in a weird time where I feel like things are going to start like settling soon into what this new normal is. And I think because we're all working in this industry right now, we're a part of that, which is exciting, but also nerve-wracking because what does that mean? Oh, we're working on it. How's that for a noise? Let's see. I found myself with more time to invest in testing GitHub Copilot on some personal projects and blown away by its capabilities, especially when using Claude Sonnet. There's so many interesting things that you could do. And I've noticed it's interesting to like mess with the models. Once again, I do think like the models will eventually converge, but right now they just don't. Where like I love Claude Sonnet 3.5. It gets the job done. 3.7 does too much. If you ask it to write like a state function in React, it'll rewrite the entire React framework. That is a joke, but it's so verbose. But then it got less verbose in 4. But then it got it like it's like these different models have different like personalities. Where I like using GPT for more like non-code work, but more like English work, if that makes sense. Like how would you describe this function, or how would you summarize these pieces of documentation or something like that. Like I feel like GPT has been better for me personally on that front. But anyway, it's been really cool to mess with projects and see what it can do. Let's see. What is this one? Given the extremes of how people feel about AI and specifically AI driven coding tools, real, do you think there's a space for the late adopters and the kinds of people who typically wait for these kind of waves to calm and is centering on a few things? Yeah, I don't think everybody has to be on the bleeding edge. I do think that like I'm not gonna say like it's AI or nothing. Like stay on this train or get off at the last stop or anything like that. Like I don't think it's that extreme, but there is going to be it's just a reality that these tools are a part of the average developer's tool belt now. I personally really dislike hearing AI generated music. I really, really dislike seeing AI generated video. Like something about it, it's interesting to learn about, and I do like try to keep up to date with it. But I admittedly am kind of a hater on that front. But for code, it's really just like a smarter autocomplete in our tool belt. Where I remember when I was first learning how to code, I was like hand compiling my Java in Notepad++. And when I first started using Eclipse, this is really dating myself. I was just like, this uses autocomplete. How will people ever remember like all of the different keywords that you're supposed to use when you write these different functions? Everybody uses autocomplete now. Everybody. Everybody. It's just what you do. I think this is that next iteration of that where it is just a tool in your tool belt that a lot of people are using. Like that's the reality of it. I do think that there is space for late adopters because late adopters of technologies like they have like the best choices to pick from then because like the people who were very early adopters were just like, well, that one was a bust. That one was pretty good. That one ended up folding. There's all of these different tools coming and going so rapidly these days. And whenever there's a hype wave of anything, the quality tools tend to like bubble to the top and then a lot fall by the wayside. And so I think that there is a space for late adopters, yes. But I also think that like you don't want to necessarily be a curmudgeon about it, being just like, ah, I hate this. I'll just wait till later. AI is definitely being just shoved in our faces right now, everywhere, in places where it doesn't need to be. The reality is there are some really good applications of it. The reality is there's some where it's not. I'm going to use my parent word. It's silly. It's silly, and we don't do that. And so I think feeling extreme is a natural inclination, but the reality is a new normal is upon us and people are using these tools. And you can hate on a lot of aspects of it, but at the same time, you can't deny the productivity gains that it has offered people. And so check them out. But TBD, we'll see. There's a whole lot of money, and a lot of money drives a whole lot of things. particularly when it means productivity gains for big business and all that. Okay, that was a little ranty. I'm going to, once again, this Octoverse report is octoverse.github.com. I'm going to move to the next ones. Thanks for welcoming me back. Let's see. Hey, Cassidy, I admire your journey at GitHub. Thanks. And how you contribute to the dev community. Thanks. What's one underrated lesson you've learned about collaboration or innovation? One underrated lesson. I think there's the phrase, a rising tide lifts all boats. I think a lot of people, it feels very kumbaya to say, like, everybody can win. But I think everybody can win in a lot of spaces, and a lot of people can take a piece of the really big pie in terms of career success, financial success, various other metrics of success, what have you. And I think an underrated lesson that I've learned is just the power of openness and just like giving stuff to people and seeing what you can do with it. Whether you're giving away free code and open source, you're giving away free tickets to a conference, you're giving away knowledge, you're giving away something, you're giving kindness, honestly, which again sounds kumbaya, but it's true. I think that when you have that kind of openness with people, it improves everything from product quality to speed of productivity to how people feel when they use a given tool. And so I think it's the power of openness. It sounds so cheesy, but I think it's also very real. And that is something that I think some people grasp that it's important, but like another phrase that a mentor told me way long ago is lift as you climb, where as you lift people up to get to where you are today and you advance in your career and your communities and different things and you fill those gaps, you benefit everybody by helping elevate others. The end. Okay, let's see. I'm moving on to the next ones. Copilot chat versus VS Code interface versus Copilot CLI. Which interface do you prefer inferencing? So I'll admit I haven't played with the Copilot CLI a ton because I was on maternity leave, so I just haven't played with it much. That being said, I really like CLI tools. It's nice to use them. It feels like I'm close to the machine and stuff. But at the same time, when I use like the VS Code interface when I'm coding and when I'm doing certain things, it's really nice to like be able to ask it questions and stuff and use the actual like GUI interface to be able to be like, I disagree with you, no, or okay, that was clear, that was unclear, or I'll accept this edit and not that edit. I have a problem with control, fully admittedly, and so I like kind of being able to easily say yes, no, click the buttons and do that. I haven't had that experience yet with the CLI, so that's where I'm at right now. That being said, favorite MCP tools, I think Puppeteer is a really underrated, powerful one for being able to like scrape a website, take a screenshot, say based on this screenshot, make these changes, that kind of stuff. I think that's really cool. It's not a joke. I've seen it try to rewrite my whole application. You're talking about Claude 3.7? I know you are. It's real. Okay. I'm talking so much that I'm trying to keep up with the chat. I'm sorry. I'm following it on LinkedIn and Twitch and YouTube. So if I miss your questions, you can feel free to repaste it and I will try to get there. Let's see. What could you see happening with Copilot to increase support for cutting edge technology out of the gate? For example, .NET 10 officially released on November 11th. It'd be great to hit the ground running. I know, right? I agree. And I think that's where some standards need to improve. And I think that's where like, I think MCP can solve this. I think MCP service can solve this. I appreciate, I think Convex does this well, convex.dev. If you haven't seen that, let's see, convex.dev. If I recall, they actually added like, I want to say it's under documentation. They added like a tool of some kind to be able to, work with AI code gen yeah, convex AI tools. Okay, so let me pull this up. So if you go to, convex.dev and their, docs, they have an AI code generation section that I think is really smart and what a lot of these libraries and stuff need to do, where it's like these are all the different queries, blah, 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 but they developed rules where it's like add convex instructions and it's documentation. And with the convex instructions and setting up the convex MCP server, it always has the most up-to-date docs with what you might want to use in their framework. And I think that's really smart and what more frameworks should do. Because again, because the reality of an AI driven future and AI driven development, people will want to use the most cutting edge stuff, and models can only iterate so much. And so, if as a part of a release for the latest and greatest libraries, maintainers had something like this is just an example, but I thought it was really clever, where it's built in to use certain things to be able to use with your favorite AI tools. I think this is very clever. So I see, well, for what you can see this happening with Copilot to increase support, I feel like it's more on what can tools do so that they can be supported everywhere. And I think that's where standards come into place. And any sort of standards that can be developed in that way, I think would be very handy. I hope that answers your question. Um, let's see. AI is scary for the developers in the dark side, and everyone knows why. But it's a new technology we need to learn. How can we turn this panic learning into an enjoyable experience? What a question. Yeah, I think that like ooh, my face is so big. How do I? Oh, okay, whatever. Anyway, I'm pressing buttons and just trying things. To make it turn into an enjoyable experience, build what you like. Meh? Like don't it's I think it's very natural to be worried about your job security, and so you're like, I have to learn this tool so I can maintain my job in this funky economy where everybody's looking for jobs and stuff like that. And so I think it's very much try to build something you like. A lot of people are hiring. It's just hard to find them right now. And people do like a lot of like AI tools to mass apply for jobs, and it's hard for hiring managers and hard for developers to learn and apply and do stuff. It's a weird time. And so it's natural to feel panicked. And it's very privileged of me to say build what you like. But at the same time, I do think that's how you can learn as much as you can if you're not enabled to learn at work. Let's see. Sometimes autocomplete is awesome, and sometimes it's the way I want to script. Yeah, it can get in the way. Human craftsmanship is never dying, even if machines can craft. It's true. I mean, they built the pyramids without cranes. Now we have cranes. Humans are still building cool buildings. They just don't have to lift heavy rocks as much anymore. It's kind of similar. We're going to use our brains in different ways. I would like to see folks talking about how to validate AI output. Yes. I think like what we are seeing, and they talk about it in that Octoverse report, we are seeing more testing than ever. Like if you look at like testing and automation in the Octoverse report, I have to find the exact numbers on it, but it's up a lot. Let me see if I can find the stat. It was something like, oh yeah, developers used 11.5 billion with a B total GitHub action minutes for free. Like that's just the free level, not even counting enterprise and paid accounts and stuff. 11.5 billion GitHub action minutes on like testing and automation and like the CI/CD stuff. And in 2025, that's massive numbers. That's like beyond what we can actually comprehend. And because of that, like I think we can infer that because so much automation is happening on like the AI generation side, just as much, if not more automation is happening and needs to happen on the test and validation side too, where like humans should still review, but it shouldn't necessarily be a bottleneck. Testing should still happen, but it's like testing for small, fast iterations rather than like a 1,000 line PR type of stuff. But yeah, I think that yeah, validating on an automation level is growing a lot. Now I see you added more. I try to use it for things where I know what the output should be and it's technically inaccurate. This does not give me trust. True. On so many of my projects, I have a really like solid anecdote that I should probably write a case study for or something. Recently, I went on vacation with my family and we were on this great trip. It was the first time where neither my husband nor I brought our laptops. We were truly just like with our babies having a good time. And then one of my side projects that I work on with people needed me to update the website. They needed this change because a really big customer was coming through and we needed to have it happen. But I wasn't able to update the website because all I had was an iPad and no IDE and no like way to do much for the website. And I was on vacation. I was in another country. And so I wrote up a doc of what it had to do and was just like go and had Copilot agent mode run it. And it worked. It wasn't perfect, but it got me like a good chunk of the way there where like I literally was editing some code in the browser and I was able to like make some comments on the PR saying like you should use these reusable components I already have. You reinvented the wheel here. This is what the copy actually should say. And like later when I got back, I was able to like make the tweaks, but it did get me to that step where I was able to like write the doc, have the agent mode run it. I validated the PR, hit merge, and the website was updated enough that I could enjoy the rest of my vacation and then come back to it later. So I also don't like 100% trust it with everything right now, but it does accelerate certain tasks really well. And I think that's where we have to start pairing our relationship with these AI tools differently, where it's not as much this will do the job and it will be perfect. It's more it will speed us up or get us at least part of the way there, and we can use that as an accelerant of some kind. Yeah. That's my professional commentary. Okay, let's see. I am scrolling through. Hello, alien. What are your recommendations on quantum projects on GitHub? I don't have any, and I'm sorry. Let's see. Oh yeah, Playwright MCP. That was really good too. Let's see. Is Agent HQ basically a copilot for all your copilots? Kind of. It's like having a team of them, a pod, if you will. I haven't played with it yet, but it looks neat. That does not answer your question, but that's all I've got for you. It looks like, by the way, this is a good networking opportunity. There's a bunch of people in the chat looking for jobs. If you're hiring, let me know. Post in the chat. Let's see. I am scrolling. A developer who started before the AI era versus a developer who started in AI and Copilot era and only uses that to code. Who wins? Once again, why can't everyone win? Mm-hmm. I think winning looks different to different people. Deep, right? Yeah, so deep. Let's see. I can see MCP. I could see MCP being involved in improving the cutting-edge technology support, but is it possible that agents would struggle to consume and understand those external MCP resources quickly when responding to queries? It feels like the models need to gradually self-improve and learn maybe on predefined topics of interest, not being prompted to do so. I think MCP is an open standard that will allow these models to perform better. Sure, agents, tools could struggle to consume, but I think that's where that just means the tools need to improve. I think a very good example of like an open standard that improved tools is RSS. All hail RSS. It's amazing. Podcasting using RSS as a baseline has expanded the power of the open standard, and the open standard has empowered podcasting. Like the improvements that have happened to the standard of RSS because of podcasting has been amazing. The tooling around podcasting has improved tremendously because RSS exists. I have a feeling we'll see a lot of that with MCP as well, where yes, there might be struggles, but if there's an open standard that people are following, things can improve. We don't need to invent new standards all the time, but we do need to like slowly conform to standards so that innovation can happen. Hey, Kadesha, how's it going? I agree, it's a tool, not a replacement. Exactly. Do you know how to delegate to coding agent uses playwright to test his work for completeness? MCP. And I'll leave it at that. Use MCP servers. They work well. But yeah, lots of people are looking for roles. I see this latest one, currently looking for technical writer roles. I know I just saw one. Block is hiring for technical writers under Angie Jones. Check that out. I saw some of the ones. Did I catch up with the chat? I feel like I've been saying so many words. What time is it? Where am I? Who am I? I don't even know. Okay, good. I still have time till my next meeting. Yay. Okay. Feel free to ignore this question, but I'm super curious what will happen from a technical perspective if Disney wins their lawsuits against different LLMs and companies. How do you roll all of that back or extract that knowledge? I don't know. And also, I probably shouldn't answer this question, but I don't know. I think that copyright is important, but also people take advantage of the system in good and bad ways. And people shouldn't be stolen from. And that information can be extracted differently from a model. But yeah, I don't know. It's a very interesting time. And I probably can't say more than that because I don't know what I'm allowed to say. Okay. Let's see. Hope you're doing great. Is being a full stack Flutter developer still worth it in 2025? Yes. The whole consider shifting to AI development. This is where I'm going to like sound like such a shill. All development is AI development right now. I'm not saying that it will be forever. It might. The reality is so many things use AI now that doing AI development and saying like you are an AI developer, are you building the models? Are you building tools around AI? Are you just using AI to build something? Saying that you're an AI developer needs to be better defined. You can still be a Flutter developer that happens to use AI. It is a bunch of if and switch statements in AI. Sure, honestly, probably is in some cases. But like, keep building what you're building. You can still build awesome Flutter tools and apps and frameworks and libraries and stuff and use AI. A lot of times people will hire saying like, okay, we want someone who's, I'm making stuff up, a senior Angular developer who knows how to use AI tools. Someone who probably knows how to use Vue or React could apply for that role and say that they know AI tools because they built with it, you know? Like, I hope that answers your question. Like, keep building what you're comfortable with, what you like. There are jobs for a lot of these popular frameworks, but also be ready to be nimble and be able to apply your knowledge to many places. Thank you. It is not my birthday. And you know that. There's a joke on the internet that it's always my birthday. That's the context. It's not my birthday. That's all I have to say. Okay. Let's see. I come from a non-developer background, but I was able to make a React.js application using GitHub Copilot and a lot of prompting. Should I accept developer roles in organizations? Can you pass an interview? Then let the company decide. If you want to be a developer, you're probably like a lot of prompting will get you far. It might not get you all the way there. If you want to be a developer, sure, start applying, but then use any interviews or feedback you get. If you get a job, great. If you don't, use the feedback and the learning to improve your skills. Because the reality of it is, I keep using that phrase, AI can only get you so far. It does get you pretty far, but if you rely on it too much, it becomes a crutch and you won't know why things are broken, you know? Okay, let's see. Claude Sonnet 3.5 versus 4 versus 4.5 in Copilot agent mode. It depends. I personally like using 3.5 for speed, but 4 or 4.5 for more up-to-date stuff. I'm still kind of experimenting between 4 and 4.5. I haven't found a huge, massive difference yet. Let's see. How can I control myself to use AI during learning? I don't know what that means. Are you using it too much or not enough? I'm going to assume you're using it too much, but let me know. Try to solve some things on your own. Turn it off on occasion. I like turning it off on occasion if I just want to like peacefully think through a problem, and then I turn it back on if I'm just like, okay, I know how to solve this. Let's move on. Or okay, I know how to do this better than an AI tool is doing. Move it on. But use it as a learning tool. But once again, don't expect to always have all the answers all at once. I don't know if that answers your question. Ooh, it focused on my keyboards. Check them out. Ooh. Okay. Let's see. Why is everyone panicking about AI? At the end of the day, it's another tool that can assist your goal, more productive. People panic because they're being told that AI will replace them. And I think we know as developers, it won't fully replace us, but it will change how we work. There you go. Which roles do you think AI will never replace? Most of them. Once again, I don't think of it as a replacement tool. I think of it as a tool that roles can use more. I mean, a lot of people say that about like internet and travel agents. You don't see as many travel agents nowadays because people can book their own flights and do their own things. But travel agents still exist because they have a certain level of expertise and they can use the tools that like replaced them to book flights and get recommendations and stuff too. And that's like their that's their forte, their expertise. It's similar. I don't think our jobs are necessarily going away. I think they're just changing and shifting. If you're using AI to make tools, can we take credit or do we include the credit for the AI tool we're using? I think that's up to you and how you want to ship it. Whenever I use AI to make something, I personally am very upfront saying like, AI did most of this part. I did most of this other part. I do that because I think transparency is important. Not everybody cares. Sometimes it's just you're the one who's writing the prompt and you're the one who had the idea to write the prompt to have the AI do it. I don't think there's really like established norms, you know? Yeah. Let's see. All development is not AI development right now. Some sectors of some industries are still very tightly controlled. Yes, very true. That's very, very true. I'm saying, and to be clear, I've never said that all development is AI development. Although it does sound like I said that, I guess, when I was answering the should I become a Flutter developer. The reality is that we are moving towards a future where code won't always be completely handwritten by a human. And so when you write code, when you write stuff, chances are in today's day and age and moving forward, you may have access to a tool that assists you in writing your code. In a lot of corporate situations where people are still trying to understand what that means, you won't. But I don't see that staying the reality forever. but we'll see. TBD. It's early. Let's see. Copyrights. There's so many things to need to be defined right now, and AI is, it's rough. Yeah. I think copyright is something that we should respect. And I really hope we continue to respect, but at the same time, like, once again, I think some people, some corporations tend to take advantage of it. It's a hairy subject. Let's see. I need to head off. Thank you for your time. It's your favorite first Rubber Duck Thursday. Hey, and it's been very valuable. This happens every Thursday, and at this time every Thursday. And sometimes it's me, sometimes it's a teammate. We kind of rotate who works on what. So come hang out. You can smash that subscribe button on LinkedIn or on Twitch or on YouTube. But yeah, make a calendar event if you want to. We should make a calendar event sometime. Oh, in terms of learning, ask AI to write a quiz for you to take. That's actually pretty good. Let's see. I was just having a conversation with an engineer who was worried about being a generalist would keep him from new opportunities. I think understanding your languages more deeply rather than the frameworks is the way forward. Any thoughts? I think the T-shaped developer is a reality where it's good to have like general knowledge of things but go deep on something. But it might be like multiple T points and stuff depending on the frameworks and jobs and things that you do. I think understanding the fundamentals of a language is really good because then you can understand what a framework gives you. But at the same time, there's people who are like pure framework developers that are wildly productive and build a lot of awesome things. And so my answer is, and my thought is, it depends again. But yeah, it's a thing. Panic, mechanical looms in ye old times. Yeah, exactly. I created an AI bot that plays Valorant for me. See, good for you. I hope that was fun. That would make Valorant less fun for me. You know? We should just all have fun. Printing press is coming for our transcription jobs. Ha ha ha. Okay. Let's see. I am scrolling through. There's so many questions. See, always indicate that AI was used. That's a no-brainer, and transparency is essential. I think so. But also, I don't know if a lot of people agree with that. I'm still kind of like understanding people's thoughts on that because I could see people saying like, we can assume AI was used now. And I don't think we're at that point yet, but I think people who are particularly riding the AI hype train, I understand why they think that way. But once again, I agree with you. Like, I would always indicate like I use AI for these specific things. I actually, not to be a total shill of my own website, but I actually made an AI usage page on my website, and I can paste it in the chat. But like AI usage, if you go to cassidy.co/AI, you can see it. But that's I talk about like, okay, everything on this website was written by me. I think LLMs and AI tools are useful. I've used these tools to help me write some code, but I like building my own personal website, so I don't use AI that much on my own personal website, and stuff like that. I don't write blog posts with AI because I don't believe in that. Like I think it's good to kind of establish that for yourself, but not everybody will. So, let's see. People still need to learn stuff, and learning can happen a bunch with a bunch of prompting, but don't just copy the code. You actually have to read the code that's written and know why stuff breaks. Yeah, and I mean, like, before AI, we were doing that with Stack Overflow, where sometimes we were just copying code, being like, oh, that's the answer, and just hope that that worked. But once again, once you copy the code and it doesn't work, you have to figure out, okay, do I want to keep asking why it doesn't work, or do I want to figure it out? And sometimes figuring it out is faster than continuing to ask the questions. Do you trust AI advice for parenting? No. I never ask I wonder I guess that's a thing. People probably ask ChatGPT how to parent. I have never done that, and I probably never will. I don't I don't like that. That made me feel icky. Um, I love to use it to learn and push myself further. Oh, cool. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. There have been times where I'll pull up, like, github.com/copilot and be just like, "I need to learn this library. I'm not entirely sure where to start, and the docs are confusing. What is, like, the baseline thing that I can start with so I can build from there?" Where it's like, what is that hello world use case for a particular library? 'Cause it's sometimes docs are not that clear on that, and they talk about just different use cases, and I like it for that, where it can give me, like, starting places for learning or give me a little curriculum that I should follow. But, I often I've been burned before where I'll be like, "Write a tutorial for me for this library," and I'll follow the tutorial for through a t to a T and be like, this is gonna get me to where I wanna go. This is what I wanna do. I had it write me a tutorial to do that task, and then it turns out it's telling me just the wrong thing. It used outdated practices. It assumed that I had certain tooling available that I didn't, stuff like that. And so like I it was a harsh lesson to learn, but I think it was a good lesson to learn that you can't rely on like one thing to be your be all end all for shipping and learning and doing stuff, but it's a tool in your tool belt for sure. Let's see. Will GitHub continue to be free? Yes. I think I can very confidently say that. There's a very big reason why we were just like Copilot should be free because everything else on GitHub was made for free. Where like we want to people to pay for stuff naturally. We like to make money as a business, but like that's what enterprise and pro usage and stuff is for. But Copilot free is a free tier, not a free trial. It's meant to be free. GitHub in general is free. You can up the ante with paid accounts and stuff, but that part is not changing on GitHub. I'm a proud generalist with expertise in accessibility. Hopefully, this helps me work on most JS frameworks because concepts do translate. Yeah. Oh, honestly, yeah, exactly. Concepts do translate a lot. What's your favorite project you're currently contributing to, and is there a public repo link? One project that I built um, and that I need to actually go through some issues, but I am proud of it because it's one that I started building with AI and then like did my own stuff. It's called PocketCal, and you could go to pocketcal.com. It is indeed open source. Check it out. Um, that has been a fun one to work on, and it's a really basic calendar app, like super super basic. Where let's just say I want to say like uh live stream. On the live stream, I say, okay, live stream is on Thursdays, but then I want to say like, I don't know, team meeting. I'm making this up. Team meeting. That team meeting is going to be every other Monday on these days or something. And then I will also want to do, I'm just going to not name that group. I want to select all these dates, do all these things. I've done this. I have like the start month. I can include weekends or not, all that jazz. This entire calendar is saved in the URL. And so when I paste this URL in the chat right now, it looks very ugly. So ignore that. But if you have access to the chat on Twitch or on YouTube, this exact calendar is saved in the URL. And it was a really fun project to work on because I thought it would be interesting to like serialize the content of an application in the URL. So anyway, that has been a very cool project to build, and I did build it with AI initially and then did my own stuff with it, but also just contribute to, and I have more that I want to do with it, but we'll see how much time I have. Let's see. As a non-native English person, how can someone speak or practice English in a way like you do? To be clear, I am a native English speaker. Practice? Honestly, like it's practice makes perfect. Are you real or AI? I am real. And to prove it, look, I'm going to look side to side and all around. And my eyes didn't shift off my face. Haha. What's your preferred approach for managing state and React projects? Context, Redux, or something else? Context. there's a lot of libraries and Redux and like Tanstack. No, Tanstack is the router. There's a bunch of other Jotai stuff. I just use Context personally. I wonder if freelancers, contractors, and agencies could niche themselves as proudly no AI. Everything is handwritten by humans. Probably. I think there are some that already do that. And pros and cons. It's kind of like some people prefer organic bananas. This is just going to be depends on what people want. Okay, I am eyeballing the time. I'm running out of time, but there's also so many questions, so I'm trying to scroll as much as I can. Can AI be what brings back the Jamstack and SSGs? I have no idea. Wouldn't that be nice? Let's see. Greatest Fortnite collab ever, yay or nay? This season, The Simpsons knows K-pop Demon Hunters. It's important to remember that even the best perceived best models still hallucinate. Yes, that's true. And that's why it's important to keep up your knowledge and not rely on things. Let's see. Oh, where is the link? Again, pocketcal.com. Sorry, I'm scrolling through the chat. That is my app. Check it out. Again, it's open source. Say potato. Potato. Oh, is that an AI thing? Is it? Thanks. Okay. Okay, I'm scrolling as much as I can to get all these questions before I run out of time because I'm late to a meeting. How do you pull in chats from both Twitch and YouTube? I am using StreamYard. This is not an ad, but that's what our team uses. I want to get a job on GitHub. GitHub.careers is the GitHub Careers website. Look at the job descriptions. There you go. Streaming software, yeah. What does rubber duck mean? In rubber ducking software development, the concept of rubber ducking is when you talk out a problem or talk out something to a rubber duck, and in talking about your coding issue or something, you tend to solve it because you've talked it out. I personally have a ceramic chicken that my grandpa made as my rubber duck that I talk to, but we thought this stream would be good for us to rubber duck problems that we work on in open source, because sometimes we code on this stream, but also to answer questions that might be in the chat. Okay, well, I would love to continue answering questions. I see some coming in, but I have to go. But once again, I will be back. The team will be back. Every Thursday we stream. And we also stream Open Source Fridays, where we interview maintainers of open source projects, and it's really cool. So that's this channel tomorrow. We also have a version of this stream in Spanish, and I think we're doing that next week. I think that one's every other week, and in Portuguese. And so keep an eye on this channel on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Twitch, and we will be continuing to hang out. And you can find me at Cassidy on most things. Cassidy.co is my website. I have a weekly newsletter you can check out too. And who leads the Spanish and Portuguese versions? My team. So you'll see Pachi Para and Andrea Griffiths on my team. They are the ones doing that. Oh, and Chris Reddington also does a UK time zone one, but he is. I think he came back. He was on leave recently, and he's coming back soon. So I don't know what the timing is on that. Anyway, Thursdays are very a heavy stream. Fridays, open source Fridays, and we'll be streaming more soon. But anyway, my friends, it was lovely chatting with you all. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week and weekend, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.